Why do so many revolutions end up with new bosses who act just like the old ones? Why do the oppressed, when they finally get power, sometimes become the very thing they fought against? Paulo Freire, a Brazilian educator and philosopher whose work Pedagogy of the Oppressed changed the way the world thinks about liberation, warned us. The oppressed, instead of striving for liberation, tend themselves to become oppressors. But why does this happen? And how can we stop it? Freire goes deeper. He says the oppressor's way of relating to the world is anti-dialogical. It's not just about what they think, but how they refuse to listen, share, or build together. Every prescription represents the imposition of one individual's choice upon another, transforming the consciousness of the person prescribed to into one that conforms with the prescriber's consciousness. This is why prescription is always a form of oppression. What does this really mean? It means those in power often fear real dialogue. They don't want to engage, they want to impose. Instead of conversation, they prefer control. Instead of questions, they demand silence. We see this across history and society. In colonial schools, the colonizers didn't teach critical thinking, they taught obedience. In authoritarian regimes, leaders issue commands, not conversations. In many workplaces, decisions are made behind closed doors, then handed down as orders. No questions asked, no input welcomed. In all these cases, the goal is the same: to prevent people from thinking freely and acting collectively. Freire calls this the banking model of education. Education thus becomes an act of depositing, in which the students are the depositories and the teacher is the depositor. The oppressor's anti-dialogical methods include conquest, divide and rule, manipulation, and cultural invasion, all designed to keep people passive and powerless. Freire also exposes another trick: false charity. He writes, "True generosity consists precisely in fighting to destroy the causes which nourish false charity. False charity constrains the fearful and subdued, the rejects of life, to extend their trembling hands." What does false charity really look like? It's when a billionaire donates to build a hospital wing, but pays workers poverty wages and spends millions lobbying against universal health care. It's when colonial powers boast about building schools or digging wells, only after stealing land, labor, and resources from the people. It's when corporations sponsor food drives for the poor, while their own business practices suppress wages and inflate prices. This isn't justice. It's not liberation. It's image control. Charity used as a shield to buy public approval, soothe elite guilt, and keep the oppressed dependent. Because nothing truly changes when those who cause the harm also control the healing. Freire calls this the necrophilic attitude of the oppressor. To be is to have. Necrophily, the love of death, is the opposite of biophily, the love of life. The necrophilous person loves all that does not grow, all that is mechanical. He is driven by the desire to transform the organic into the inorganic, to approach life mechanically, as if all living persons were things. Necrophilia here means a love of control, order, and lifelessness, treating people as objects, not as living, thinking beings. When the oppressed are raised in this system, they learn to distrust their own voices and to see dialogue as dangerous or pointless. They may even start to believe that real change only comes from force, not from conversation or cooperation. Freire continues, "In the early stages of the struggle, the oppressed often end up imitating their oppressors or becoming sub-oppressors themselves. This happens because their thinking has been shaped and conditioned by the contradictions and realities of the oppressive conditions they've lived under." Real-life example: a worker who becomes a manager and starts making decisions alone, believing that's what leaders do. Or a revolutionary group that, after gaining power, silences dissent and refuses to listen to the people, repeating the same anti-dialogical patterns as the old regime. Franz Fanon, in The Wretched of the Earth, saw this too. The colonized man is an envious man. And this the settler knows very well. When their glimmer of hope is extinguished, the oppressed will try to take the place of the oppressor. And why do we so often fall into these traps? Because, as Freire explains, we are trained by our oppressors. We are taught to see them as models, even as demigods, and to doubt our own power. The oppressed, having internalized the image of the oppressor and adopted his guidelines, are fearful of freedom. So, what's the answer? Freire is clear. Revolutionary leaders must not become what they fight. They must reject anti-dialogical methods and build a new logic, one of dialogue, humility, and shared humanity. He says, leaders who do not act dialogically, but insist on imposing their decisions, do not organize the people, they manipulate them. They do not liberate, nor are they liberated, they oppress. What should revolutionary leaders do? Practice dialogue, not domination. Listen to the people, learn from them, and build solutions together. Foster critical thinking. Encourage everyone to question, to reflect, and to see through the lies of the oppressors. Model humility and accountability. Admit mistakes, share power, and never put yourself above the people. Build structures that prevent new hierarchies. Rotate leadership, ensure transparency, and make sure no one can become a new oppressor. Reject false charity. Don't just give handouts. Fight to change the system that creates need in the first place. Freire calls for praxis, the combination of reflection and action. It is not enough for people to come together in dialogue in order to gain knowledge of their social reality. They must act together upon their environment in order to critically reflect upon their reality and so transform it through further action and critical reflection. Praxis means not just talking about change, but making it real, learning, acting, reflecting, and acting again. Bell Hooks, in Teaching to Transgress, echoes this. To teach in a manner that respects and cares for the souls of our students is essential if we are to provide the necessary conditions where learning can most deeply and intimately begin. And Audre Lorde, in Sister Outsider, reminds us, the master's tools will never dismantle the master's house. To truly break the cycle, the oppressed must unlearn the oppressor's anti-dialogical logic and reject false charity. Question everything. Why do we believe what we believe? Who benefits from these beliefs? Value your own experience. Your life, your struggle, your dreams matter. Build solidarity. Real change comes when the oppressed unite, not to become new oppressors, but to create a world where no one is oppressed. Embrace praxis. Reflect, act, reflect again. Never stop learning and transforming. And remember, activism without an ideology is not revolutionary. As Freire teaches, authentic praxis is not mere activism, but reflection and action upon the world in order to transform it. A revolution and a new world cannot be done for the people. It must be done with the people. Everybody must be involved in the action. Any person who says otherwise is not a revolutionary. A true revolution starts from dialogue and collective action, not from leaders acting on behalf of the people. As Freire warns, leaders who do not act dialogically, but insist on imposing their decisions, do not organize the people, they manipulate them. They do not liberate, nor are they liberated, they oppress. Freire calls this conscientization, critical consciousness. Liberating education consists in acts of cognition, not transferals of information. So next time you see a revolution, a new leader, or a movement for change, ask, are they building a new world, or just repeating the old one with new faces? The real revolution is not just in the streets, but in our minds, our schools, our relationships, and our daily choices. The world is waiting for a new logic, one that puts people, not power, at the center. Organize, resist, be unbreakable.